It's Georgia Florida week, and so every single thing makes us nervous. But hold on, every single thing makes us excited. Wait, but hold on, don't sleep on anything. We're gonna give you all of those next. Locked On Bulldogs.
You are Locked On Bulldogs, your daily podcast on the Georgia Bulldogs, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the Locked On Bulldogs podcast, your team every day, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. He is Clint. I am Daniel. Excited to have you here. Today's episode brought to you by the folks at FanDuel. FanDuel.com. Make every moment more. More on them in a moment. Thank you to all of you who are here. Thank you to the everydayers. Thank you to those of us that make us your first listen of the day. We appreciate all of you. You are all what makes the show go. A lot of new listeners, as there always are at this point in the season. If you're catching us on the YouTubes, what's up? Happy to have you. Drop a comment. Maybe give us a thumbs up. All that stuff is great. Follow us on the podcast platform of your choosing. That helps us out a bunch. Just download those shows. If you're listening to us on podcast, you can also go subscribe to the YouTube channel with, 10,000 plus of your friends, and that would be a fun time if you wanted to do that. We've been separate but equal this week, Clint, on the show. You've been holding it down the last few days. I had some family stuff going on, but I'm back, and we're glad to be back. I just want to let the people know that if you haven't hated Florida with the fire of 1,000 suns today, then you're not living the life that you were intended to live. Okay, so let's make some changes together, and let's all hate Florida together. Are Texas fans just absolutely embarrassing themselves with how deplorable they are? Absolutely.
If you didn't see the little clip of Texas fan being asked if they appreciated offensive coordinator putting in a new recruit, Moo Dang, getting into the spot and asking fans how they thought he was going to do, and then giving a prediction that he was going to catch 5 passes for 120 yards and 2 tuds in his first action. The baby hippopotamus, because they don't know football. They're annoying, and they're ridiculous, and they're an embarrassment. All of that's true.
Texas fans are the worst. Tennessee fans, we still see you. We know you're coming up. We know who you are, okay?
Trust me.
We know who you are.
The sound of your catalytic converter scraping on the ground as you come is heard for miles and miles around.
This segment brought to you by eBay Motors. Alabama fans, you won the Super Bowl on September 28th. Congratulations to you. I have nothing to say to you. Congratulations on winning the most important football game in your franchise's proud history.
We're going to talk about teams that are going to the playoff, though. So, Bama fans, why don't you sit this one out?
And yet, Florida fans, you're the worst. You're absolutely, without doubt, the worst fans in the world. And the university that you cheer for, not only is it in complete and total shambles, but you put it there, and you deserve everything that you're getting right now, because Dan Mullen was he was the anti-Kirby Smart. He was better than Kirby Smart. And then you let him go. And then you hired Sunbelt Billy, the one-time Sunbelt champion, Billy Napier, who hired some chubby baby-faced kid to be his defensive coordinator. And you had the nerve to go on social media and say, we got our own Kirby Smart.
You said that. Like, we didn't say it. We didn't make you say it. No one forced you to say it. You volunteered that information to expose yourself as a casual.
We've devolved down a hole here. We're talking excited, nervous, don't sleep on. The game is tomorrow afternoon. Let's talk about what we're excited about. It's the cocktail party. There's everything to be excited about in this game. I personally am most excited to watch a rested, healthy, bye-week extra day to prepare schemed Georgia defense take on a true freshman quarterback
Oh, no.
in DJ Lagway.
Oh, no.
We're talking about the best defense in America, y'all. We're talking about a defense that is playing lights out football right now. We're talking about a defense that has never been healthier in this season than it is right now, and a defense that's had an extra week to prepare. Do you think Kirby Smart is looking past Florida, Clint? Is that what Kirby does?
No, Kirby doesn't look past any team, especially Florida. I know Alabama wants the Super Bowl every year to be Georgia because you guys get your jollies off on that, and I understand it. Good for you. Kirby doesn't want the Super Bowl to be Florida every single year. He goes for just trophies of bagged head coaches. That's Kirby's joy in this. He doesn't just beat. That's fun. Like, Kirby hates losing more than he enjoys winning. And he loves taking it out on the backside of Gators. So this is so personal to him. This is why he embodies a Georgia head coach. Like, he is just the personification of every created player, head coach possible. He hates Florida. This is so personal to him. I'm excited for another meme of Kirby after the game, Daniel. Yeah. I'm excited for HBT. Like that. And I'm not going to finish it for y'all, but that type of how about them dogs. I'm excited for another one of those after this game because he wants to get after it so badly. Daniel, he's not looking past anybody. They're arrested. He's a defensive coordinator. He has a freshman quarterback. And I said this, went on a couple of radio shows, went a couple of different places. Kirby Smart is going to take away the run game. So, Florida fan, doing your yapper, saying our running game is going to be fine. Okay. Kirby's going to make sure that's gone, and he's going to look to your uber talented true freshman quarterback and say,
"Oh no,
beat me.
Win the game in Jacksonville." By the way, de facto home game for Georgia. This game's going to be 70-30. I mean, at minimum 70-30. We're talking about things to be excited about. Don't let the fact that Florida is closer to Georgia Tech than it is Alabama distract you from the fact that this is still the game in which you hate the opposing team the most, Georgia fans. Be excited about the rivalry. Even though Florida is not holding up their end of the bargain, it's still a great rivalry. One of the best in college football. But there's still reasons to be nervous, Georgia fans.
Yes, the cocktail party. Daniel.
Don't get it twisted. So there's still reasons to be nervous. Clint and I will be back right after this talking about all of the reasons that you might want to consider bringing a bucket with you to Jacksonville. But first, these.
That is $1 million idea right there. Just small buckets selling at Jacksonville for the cocktail party. Holy jeez. It is. Yep, we need to do that. Hey, get ready to tackle the NFL action with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook, because right now, new customers bet $5, get 150 bonus bucks back straight to you. FanDuel Sports app gives you everything that you need in one place for NFL, all on your phone, app, website. Get a little hunch in the middle of the game. You can check out the latest stats, view live play-by-play, and so much more on the same page where you place your bets. Visit FanDuel.com to join today. You'll get started with $150 in bonus bets if you win your first $5 bet. That's FanDuel.com. Never waste a hunch and make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. Yeah, Daniel,
hear me out here, Clint. Hear me out. What if we do a collab?
Oh, here we go.
We call up John, formerly of John Tweet Sports. Now I think he doesn't tweet sports anymore. I don't know. He's just John. He's just John. We call up John. We do a little collaboration.
Okay.
We do a miniature bucket, cocktail glass,
bottle,
cocktail glass for your pregame cocktail. You then take it into the stadium. You empty it in the parking lot. You take it into the stadium. Now you got yourself, Gerf, a little vessel right there with you in your seat when you need it. It's $1 million idea. All right. It's about time that we started the marketing train rolling. All right, Clint, we're excited about a lot of things.
Yeah.
What makes you nervous going into this game on Saturday? Why might Georgia fans need that bucket?
I hate Jordan Hare Stadium with all of my passion because every single time we play in it, I get weird feelings because I saw the most talented team in America go in there and look like they were a 4-year-old on a tricycle, falling down, hitting asphalt, and watching everything before their hopes and dreams get dashed like that. Florida, I can't help but think wheel routes forever, y'all.
Oh, no.
Now, I'm not saying don't sleep on wheel routes. That's not what
Yeah.
I'm saying. What I'm saying is our defense is better than their offense. Our defense is the best defense in America. Our defense has the best pass rush ability of anybody in America. We have the best edge defenders collectively as anybody else. Our linebackers are playing out of their mind. Don't sleep on this, however. Don't sleep on some wrinkle, some play that Billy Napier just absolutely falls upon himself, mistakenly geniused his way into calling a play call that's out of desperation or something that finds its little seam within this defense. We saw it against Alabama. Alabama for a quarter and a half ran power off tackle, outside screen, get the wide receivers coming down, flying around, and they had success with that. Kentucky just said, we're gonna find with a depleted defensive line, which, by the way, I'm excited for Jordan Hall and Tate Ratledge coming back in. Seems that they're officially probable for this game, which
officially probable,
which means which means nothing.
No, not a thing. There's nothing official about that.
I know. I understand. I'm
That's
giving
right.
myself.
This is the nervous.
It's the nervous.
It's okay.
Thank you. I appreciate that. But I am nervous that this defense, there seems to be at times susceptibility. If I was to put my money on what that's going to be, I think it's going to be some sort of outside screen game. I think when we man up and go man coverage with our safeties being out in the first half, 2 of them, remember, KJ Bolden talked about his communication, but I think outside quick screen games and having man coverage, blocking one, getting on the outside and having a tackle for 8-9 yard chunks at a time could be strung together in a drive. And I'm nervous that actually does have success and pops one against us because Billy Napier has stumbled in, not because he's good or he's great or his coaching staff is great or his players are great, but stumbled into genius like that. I am nervous about the defense in that one capacity.
Yeah, it is the cocktail party, Clint. There's a reason that 5 of the last 15 in the last 15 seasons. Sorry, I'm going to say this correctly now. Let me start over. In the last 15 seasons, 5 different times the higher ranked team has lost in this. That's over 30% of the time, Clint. That the higher ranked team is losing the game.
If we're a baseball player, Daniel, we are on a lot of lists for a lot of offseason awards if we're hitting 1 out of 3.
Yeah. 2020, Georgia was the higher ranked team. Florida wins. 2019, Florida was the higher ranked team. Georgia wins. 2012, Florida was the higher ranked team. Georgia wins. 2014, Georgia was the higher ranked team. Florida wins. Like there's you look at the history of this rivalry and crazy things happen. There have been many times over the course of the history of this rivalry. Now, there have been a lot of ranked on ranked matchups, but there have been many times in the history of this rivalry that even an unranked team has beaten a ranked team in this matchup. And so you got to be nervous about anything heading into the cocktail party. If I'm looking at the product on the field, it is that Florida has been getting better every week all year. And they also are coming off of a bye week. I actually think this Florida team, if I'm going to be objective and honest, has been overperforming. I think you feel that way too, Clint. Like they are better than I thought they would be this season.
Yes. Yep.
They have, and it's not a credit to Billy Napier. In fact, Graham Mertz had to get hurt for Florida to realize who the better quarterback on the campus was and put him in the game. Billy Napier still can't get out of his own way, but against his better judgment, he has actually made this team competitive. and continuing to get better every week. This is Florida's Super Bowl, especially now that I think Billy Napier's job is safe. Like,
He's
I
safe.
actually think that
Yes.
no matter what happens the rest of the season, with the exception of a loss to Florida State in the last week, as long as they beat Florida State, who is the worst team in college football, I think Billy Napier's job is safe. I think Florida's playing loose. I think they're playing free. I don't think there's any pressure on them going into this game. There's not a single person in the world that is going to be picking Florida in this game. Like, none. They might not even pick this game on College Game Day. I mean, they will because it's a rivalry, but nobody is going to pick Florida in this game.
About it. Yeah.
That's got to make you nervous as a Georgia fan. I mean, this Georgia-Florida, guys, like, just look at the results.
Yeah, more to Daniel's point. I'm going to list the times Florida has been unranked going up against the top 5 Georgia in this game. Okay. 0-2 Florida, unranked Georgia 5.
Oh, no. Do we remember that game, Georgia fans?
I was just going to say, we remember 0-2. Okay. 2010, Florida, Georgia, both unranked, but Florida takes the W in overtime. 2014, Florida, unranked against the 9th ranked Georgia Bulldogs.
Top 10 Georgia,
top 10
unranked Florida.
That's what 18 points is that loss right there, Daniel. 18 points. The only time Georgia has been in the top, I mean, the last 3 times Georgia's been ranked number 1 going against Florida. The last 3 times we've won. Before that time, Georgia was number 3 in 2017. Florida won. But before that, look, what I'm saying is cyclical, this nature of this series. Kirby Smart is king in this series, but don't think like this is so shocking that an unranked Florida, except for the last 3 years, can't come up and bite Georgia in the backside, because they absolutely can. They hate us as much as we hate them. And it's just inevitable. Billy Napier is safe. They're going to be playing fast and loose. DJ Lagway is going to get out there, and he's just going to be flowing. Like, what's dangerous about an athlete, y'all, is when you take away stress and processing. When you take away those and you just let them get in their groove, athletes will athlete up. And DJ Lagway sucks as a quarterback, but he's a dang good athlete. So, again, nervous about that, Daniel.
Yeah, I think you have to be. All right, that's what we're excited about. That's what we're nervous about. What should you not be sleeping on? That's what we'll talk about next.
Y'all want to go ahead and get these 5-hour energies in your system before you wake up at the cocktail party, because I don't care what time it is. It's too late. You're too late to get the 5-hour energy into there. Friends who are at 5 Energy know that being a passionate football fan isn't just a hobby, it's a way of life. It takes a lot of energy to power through all day. Tailgates, touchdown celebrations, and agonizing second overtime. That's not for us. No, just the tailgate.
No,
in the game.
That won't.
Which is why they've created the 5-hour energy shot with a special flavor called Fan Fuel, the energy shot made just for super fans like us. The fans are just the first in the parking lot and the last to leave. We see you. What we want you to do is we want you to remember all the times that you've been at the cocktail party and you needed a little pick-me-up, because it's been gut-wrenching. It's been nerve-wracking. It's been bucket-worthy, right? That again, I've just described the cocktail party every single year. Please, oh please, get a 5-hour energy into your system. 5-hour energy knows no matter what team you root for, being a fan requires heart, soul, whole lot of energy. Whether you're prepping for the big tailgate or ironing your jersey, your game day needs to do has a mile-long list of to-dos. That's why the limited edition Stan the Fan 5-hour energy shot is here. Help you get through those fueled tailgate seasons all season long. What's your FanDuel of this week? Whatever it is, do it with a 5-hour energy. Available on 5hourenergy.com. Shipped nationwide. So we're excited, we're nervous, and now we're going to tell you what not to sleep on. This is a segment in which you might think to yourself, oh, I know how this game's going to play out. Well, that hasn't really played out, well, except for the Texas game where Daniel and I told you what was going to happen in the Texas game before it happened,
And then it happened.
And
then it happened.
Did it happen?
See, that's what they say in public speaking. What you do is you tell them what you're going to tell them.
And then what do you do?
And then you tell them. And then you tell them what you just told them, and then you watch the TV and you watch it happen right on your television set.
Yeah. Okay, so we're gonna clue you in. There's some things you're not thinking about right now. We're gonna tell you, don't sleep on these things. Daniel, hit the people with your first don't sleep on this aspect of the game on Saturday.
It's a pretty simple Carson Beck bounce back, is what it is, Clint. They had the unmitigated goal this week.
They did.
To ask Kirby Smart what's wrong with Carson Beck.
Do you guys legitimately want your privileges of asking questions revoked?
Because I do. I want your privileges of asking questions revoked. I desperately do. We're all dumber because you exist.
Correct.
They asked Kirby Smart, what's wrong with Carson Beck? This is a home game for Carson Beck. He loves to play in Jacksonville. Obviously, Jacksonville native. Loves this game. Played pretty good in it last year. Led Georgia's offense to 43 points last year in the game. That seems advantageous to me. Much maligned, dumped on, shat on Carson Beck this year. I think this is a bounce back game. I think it's a pretty obvious bounce back spot to me. And I'm going to parlay it with a second don't sleep on.
Okay.
Don't sleep on Georgia fans giving him zero credit for it when he has a lights out performance against Florida. Zero credit will be given to Carson Beck after this game, but I expect him to have a big one. I expect 3-4 touchdowns. I expect near 300 yards through the air. I think the running game is going to get going in this game. I mentioned that on Monday because I think of what the offensive line getting healthy and continuing to come together is going to be huge for this Georgia team. So I think the running game gets going, and I think that helps Carson Beck, helps his stats, helps his confidence, helps the receivers. And I think you're going to see a really big afternoon from 15 on Saturday, Clint.
Don't sleep on this. Georgia has not won more than 3 in a row against Florida since 78 to 83, Daniel. Okay. Not
like
since
that,
then.
It's just an unlucky, you win 3 and then you drop 1.
You drop 1. Florida has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, won 7 from 90 to 96, and then again from 98 to 03. Georgia has won 6 of the last 7. This is where we make it 4 in a row, on our way to 7 in a row. I don't see Billy Napier having the team, having the recruits, having the coach, or having anything else in his arsenal, because DJ Lagway is going to hit that portal sometime soon, and then he's going to lose his prized recruit, and he won't be there anymore. And it's just Billy left with nobody. Don't sleep on this being the beginning of a 90s-esque Florida domination, but in reverse. It's now Georgia's domination of Florida, where it's not a back and forth. It is every year you come play Kirby. Kirby stomps your face in, and he just bashes you until you run home. This is the make or break. Over this hump, it's 7 or 8 in a row for Georgia after this. Okay, so don't sleep on that. The second don't sleep on, Daniel, I anticipate play action being used early and often for Carson Beck. We haven't seen much of it because the running game hasn't been getting there. I anticipate Florida loading up the box, and just as you said, everybody looking at Carson Beck saying, you're an idiot, you're a coward, you're not very good, you're just dribbling down your leg the entire time. He's going to come out and he's going to put his feet into that grass and say, this is mine. I own this. And it's going to be early and often. Mike Bobo is going to go ahead and forget all the empty sets and instead say, I want to see Carson Beck.
Forget them.
Dropping back after a fake handoff, rolling out to his right, getting a little wiggle and hucking that thing down the field. I fully anticipate play action being used plenty on this. Don't sleep on Tate Ratledge getting a 15-yard personal foul penalty at some point in this game. If there was a bet on that, I would take hefty juice for that.
Bet the over.
It's going to happen. And then lastly, if the pass rush gets working early, If in the first quarter you see DJ Lagway get pressured 3 times on a couple of drives, 2 drives in, Michael touches him, Jalen touches him, Jordan Hall comes back, empties the pocket in the middle. Just don't sleep on Florida scoring no more than 3 points in this game. If they get to him early and often, it's going to be 1 field goal maybe at the end of the game.
Yeah. I mean, Florida scored 20 in the last 2 games against Georgia.
Good defenses.
I don't see him getting to 20 in this game. I just don't see it. I just don't see it happening. I see Georgia's defense scoring, though. Like, that's the thing that I actually do see in this game. A lot of turnovers against Texas. We all saw that, but a lot of dropped turnovers against Texas.
Yeah.
I think Georgia shores some of that up. I think DJ is going to give us the ball multiple times. Maybe it's a scoop and score on a sack fumble. Maybe it's a pick six. But I do like Georgia's defense to score, Clint, in this game.
Don't sleep on. Daniel and I are famous for requesting, asking, and getting giddy as small school-age children when a Kirby Death March begins its first foyer into the game.
Oh. Where's the Kirby Death March been, Clint? I wore the shirt today, and I hadn't seen one in nary a minute.
There was a mini one in the Texas game. There was a mini death march. It wasn't a full-fledged death march. We haven't seen one in a hot minute. We need it back. Don't look for one in this game. Just to let you all know right now, Kirby doesn't know.
Gunnar Stockton will throw a touchdown pass before you see a Kirby death march. That'll be... Kirby's got no chill in him, and nor should he, because we don't forget, Georgia fan, if you're listening to this podcast, you probably were alive in 2010.
Likely.
When Florida fans were telling you that Georgia had won 3 games in the last 30 years. 3 games in the last, 20 years.
20.
17-3, Florida went on a run from 1990 to 2010. You were probably alive then. Well, Georgia fans, as Clint mentioned, the tables have turned. Georgia has won 9 of the last 13. They have won 6 of the last 7. They have won 3 of the last 3. And they're going to win 1 of the last 1 on Saturday. It's going to be a good one. And the only thing that could be better than a Georgia win on Saturday, Clint, will be us overreacting to a Georgia win right here on the Locked On Bulldogs podcast on Saturday evening.
Yeah.
Tune in for it. We'll be right here. You know where to find us. He's Clint. I am Daniel. This has been the Locked On Bulldogs podcast, and we will see you guys on Saturday night.
See you.